Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zari and you guys are watching Finance Square. Now in today's video, this is one of the first video of this series where I'm actually going to be talking about investing in different sectors. In today's video, we're talking about e-commerce investment. So we're going to go over and explain step by step in regards to what is e-commerce, what are the e-commerce potential, e-commerce business model, what drives the e-commerce growth, and basically how to invest in e-commerce and what are the potential e-commerce return. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm also going to be providing you an in-depth research and content of whatever I'm going to be talking about in 8 languages. So I'm talking about French, Spanish, Portuguese, Polish, Italian, Dutch, German, and obviously English. So this will be the languages you'll be able to read more about it. I'm also going to provide you an easy access for those who don't have a lot of money, how you can actually participate in pre-IPO company related to e-commerce. So let's begin. So let's explain first what is e-commerce even before you think about investing. So e-commerce is selling and buying goods by using the internet. So obviously if you're a consumer, you'll be buying, and if you're a seller, you actually are selling. Very simple. Now when we look at the e-commerce efficiency, also with the rise of technology, AI really made things more simple. One of the biggest trends I've seen in the past few months is this virtual reality. So people that cannot go to the store because of the lockdown or the quarantine, for example, there are now more and more companies that are using a more virtual reality, so for you to actually go to the website and look at the product as if you're physically there. This obviously will help a company to maybe a little bit increase their sales. So this is obviously something that's very cool. Imagine you're thinking about, I don't know, buying a house, and now you're going to this website. You can actually physically see the room, move places. So this is something that is really cool, and it is a necessity that now more than ever that it's actually really booming. Now when we look at the e-commerce potential, just for you to put things in perspective, by the end of 2021, this industry expects to be worth or generate $4.8 trillion. This is an insane amount of money. You obviously need to understand that one of the biggest drive of e-commerce is obviously mobile phone. So just for you to understand, only in the US there is 162 million people that have a phone that are actually buying stuff on their phone. I also prefer to buy stuff online. In some cases, some e-commerce platform or company even decide to give you more incentive or more discount if you buy from the phone. So this is probably the reason why we're seeing a very big increase in e-commerce shopping via mobile. It's much more convenient and easy. So yeah, so obviously just for you guys to know, women are doing more online shopping than men. For every $10 spent on online shopping, $6 is being spent by women. This is obviously something for you guys to understand. So now let's go and dig into the e-commerce business model. So the e-commerce business model can be split in the following categories. So we have a direct seller. So basically a direct seller is a business that basically manages on inventory, and basically they sell and buy. He's actually the owner. He doesn't use a third party or middleman to conduct the business. He owns the product and he sells the product. Okay, this is for you guys to understand what are the pros and cons. The pro and con is you generate high revenue and have more market share. All the business is under your control. It can give you multiple features. The profit margin is very low or even negative in some cases. You can have a benefit from a third. You can have benefited from a third party as there is none involved. You won't be having any competitive advantage. So this is obviously something for you guys to understand. And then you have marketplace. So the marketplace will be a place for like AliExpress or Alibaba Group or Amazon or Etsy. This would be considered a marketplace. So marketplace is a platform that connects buyer and seller. usually is not owned by one seller. So you have multiple sellers that come and registered on this platform for the purpose of selling their goods. Okay, this is a very simple definition, or if you want to be a bit more realistic, you go to the market. There's many people that have different stand. So this is basically, it's lure you in to come to this place because you know there's multiple sellers that you might find what you're looking for. Now let's go over the pro and cons. The risk is very low because the company doesn't manage any stock inventories. In some cases, in the case of Amazon, you're actually doing a drop shipping where they manage the stock for you. Uses switching costs and network effect to make competitive benefits, increase the profit easily. The market share is lower if you look at the cons than direct selling. Difficult to stand in the market. So obviously think about it. If you are the only person in the market, very easy. If there's 10, 20 people that are trying to compete for selling the same item, it's going to become very hard. So now obviously you have dependency on third part, so that's also something to consider. Now I'm going to talk about software provider. So software provider will be a company like Shopify or the alternative that will basically facilitate the infrastructure for you to be able to sell your goods and also to receive payment easily and to track your inventory. Now, this will be the right way to define this. All right, so let's look at the pro and cons. So pro, you have a broad exposure to e-commerce, potential to grow. So obviously you're able to customize the software provider according to your business need and growth. You can have competitive benefits through switching costs, lack of direct connection with customers. It costs you to have a customer. The profit making process is slow. Now in regards to lack of direct connection with customer, I actually disagree with this because Shopify gave you the ability to create your own website in a way, or to build your own website on top of the infrastructure. So it doesn't mean that you have less contact with your customer. That's just for my opinion. And then we have here logistics. Obviously logistics is a very, very big thing. Obviously whenever you buy anything, someone needs to ship your product because everything is done online. So logistic can be, if you look at the image, can be like containers, a boat, plane, warehouses. So obviously that's something that will obviously grow. If e-commerce grow, obviously so also logistic will grow. So this is obviously something for you guys to consider. Now let's look at what drives e-commerce growth. So obviously access to the internet will definitely help grow the e-commerce. So the more people have access to the internet, the more likely, the more potential user that will penetrate this industry. And also we look at smartphones, as I said, that right now there's a major growth in mobile e-commerce shopping. Obviously having more smartphones with access to internet obviously will increase this industry. And obviously demographics, obviously having now more and more younger people that are buying compared to 5 years ago, this obviously can increase this industry. Now, and obviously increase in number of online retailers. So there's more and more people that are using companies like Amazon, even like AliExpress to open their own online presence, which obviously the more online presence there is, the more potential that the customer will find what he's looking for. Okay, this is obviously something to consider. And also the rise of social media. Today it's super easy to sell stuff from if it's Instagram, if it's even Facebook. So it's really easy. They don't even need to have a website. It's enough to have a social media, nice picture, someone talking about it, and you actually have a very easy access. And obviously with improvement in payment method, the more payment method you have, the more likely you'll be able to lure in different customers that have different payment method preference. Now the question is, how do you invest in e-commerce? So option one is for you to guys and open your own e-commerce. That's option one. Now for this specific video, I'm not talking about opening your own business. I'm talking about the following. So e-commerce stock investments. So basically you find different stock that you can actually invest for these purposes. You can actually see in what sector. So you can decide if this is good for you or not. I'm going to provide you in this video also the breakdown of all the relevant e-commerce stock for you guys to look into. All right. And then you have also pre-IPO e-commerce startup. So this is literally whoever is accredited investor. So accredited investor is someone that actually is able to invest, let's say $10,000, $20,000, and is, let's say, okay, has maybe set aside $100,000. Again, this varies per country, but just for you guys, if you have a lot of money, and this will be probably something you guys to consider. I'm also going to provide you guys a link to another pre-IPO marketplace for budget. So basically the minimum amount is like $100, so you can really invest in very cool startups. So I'm also gonna provide this information. And then we come to e-commerce fund. I actually came across eToro, and eToro created a super cool fund that really give you exposure to e-commerce. And if you look here, you have a really nice breakdown how much money generated or losses over the years. So this is super cool, and the minimum here is $5,000. Again, this is really up to you, but really manage your exposure to it within a very specific logic, and also do rebalancing. The good thing about it, they don't charge any management fees, but it really gives you like an ease and really exposure to those ones. So if you look here at the return of 2020 to 2020, we're looking at almost 139% a year. In 2019, we're looking at 29%. In 2018, there was a drop at minus 10%. But overall, if you do an average of over the past year, we're looking at 55% gain on average between 2017 and 2020. Now, this is, for me, it's a very good industry to look at. And again, I'm doing this video because right now there is a lot of money pouring into cryptocurrency and to other sector. I want to make sure my viewers, you have more option whenever you think that you have exhausted an industry, or you think that a specific investment has reached the peak. You still want to move that money around to another one that can actually keep generating some profit. So this is the purpose of this video. Now, once again, I'm going to provide you this link in my description, in the comment. If you have more questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. Until next time, bye bye.